Tertúlia.
Good afternoon to you all. Today is Sunday, July 11th. The entry is 1625. It has 3 pages and 10 maxima. The name is Repairing Cycle. The subdiscipline is existential recyclology. The repairing cycle is the methodical technical procedure of repairing and reconstruction or adjustment of specific slides committed and acknowledged by the lucid consciousness. The repairing duty, the personal repairing courage, the repairing works, the intelligence of the instantaneous repairing of the mistake, the systematic repairing of the mistakes, the public remission, the restoring of the failure, the plastic repairing surgeries, the repair of bone loss of injured people, the exclusive reparation, the personal reparation involving the evolutionary group, and the reparation of evolutionary root. We have in remissionology 15 items. The self-correction, the root correction, technical repair, and rectification. With time and the accumulation of experiences, the intraphysical consciousness increases the efficiency of the reparations and even diminishes the time used to them or the need of executing such rectifications. How do you face the personal reparations? Are they immediate or immediate? I'd like to remind you that we have the cyclogram course this week, and the course has 3 bioenergetic fields with penta, spiriticity, and extraphysical clinic. The dynamics of the paroxystic guinea pig from 12 to 15. It starts tomorrow, and it takes place in discernment. The subscription is made in the CIAC reception. It's a partnership between CIAC, APEX, and Asimvex. I would like to tell the people from discernment that they should have a reception room for us to make the subscription. There should be such place. It's good for you to think about this. It's very practical. Here we have a magazine. It's called Galileo. And there is a page that deals about this subject. Your car is being wrecked. Scientists can break in the system of the cars, and they can control from the brakes to the accelerators. They will have to check the antivirus new version, and the cars are as vulnerable to hackers' attacks as our home computers. They can control the radio, the air conditioner, and even prevent the brakes to work when the car is on high speed through the engine control unit. Even with the driver tries to brake, to use the brakes, he can't. And the assemblers haven't noticed the danger of such wrecker actions. The objective of the study of these problems is to prevent people, mad people, from causing accidents, serious accidents. I always used to say that when computing enters in our lives, everything can go wrong. Here there's another magazine, super interesting, and it's about the new book. Technology will change the way we see the reading. How long the book has been written. That's how we're gonna see a book. There will be a forum, there will be room for readers to interact and send their opinion. This is what Bob Stein is saying in this article. The digital article, the digital book. Many books platforms will be connected through the internet. The book will be online. The notes that I might do in a page will be visible for everyone. There will be discussions, there will be notes read, and people will make a signature. They won't buy the book itself. Maybe the book becomes public, and people will be able to build very live communities around the subject of the book. The concept of author didn't even exist in Gutenberg's time. And with technology, we're going to have a new kind of collaboration. Group will overcome the individual. When I do this in Tertuliarium, it's the same situation. Editors, libraries, bookstores need to suffer a refurbish. The book won't disappear, won't fade away, but there will be a new model for the social reading. The question is, who would like to read with me this weekend? This is very interesting. Book won't fade away, but these news are coming. We deal with books here, and I'm always asking you, where is your book? Where is your book? So it's important for us. And in this entry, repairing cycle, there are many things to be written. I have already made some notes, and I am making another entry, the immediate restoration. For example, the act of using and arranging, the act that studying and taking notes in computer, the act of typing and saving the files. Here I talk about the instant act. It's like a continuation. It's like a consequence of this repairing cycle entry. And I have many data in my house. So this is my last questions. Are your repairings immediate, instantaneous, or are they immediate? Do you leave it for the future. You leave it to do in next lives. How is your life? It's very important for us to define what kind of organization is your consciousness. A ridiculous, shallow organization or a substantial organization. That's when repairing cycle enters. Waldo, this repairing cycle is the dynamics of that recovering phase of the evolution, right? Yes, it's for us to avoid doing the recovering. It's a prevention of en route accidents, and it's also the elimination, as I say here in this entry. You know, like a continuation. It's a more theoretical part of the subject. The subjective technique of the self-avoidance, of the tangent burr. It goes against the burr. So to add to this entry, we are going to bring this other one. This repairing cycle has relation to the self-defense, right? In this sense, could there be another dynamics in previous phases like victimization and interprison? The problem is that repairing cycle has, it can't reach only a relationship between two people, but it must reach the relation with the cosmos and how to use energies, because that's how we manifest, we behave. We are online. I would like to tell you that we are back online, okay? Well, the percentage of the determination of previous cycles, of previous phases, are very lower than the free will, right? Yeah, when you start making immediate corrections, you amplify yourself with your free will. Because you enter the cosmos flow, you walk on the right way. From your point of view, would it be good for the person to balance assistance and its own repairing cycle? No, assistance is always in the space, but balance assistance to other people and assistance to oneself. This is self-assistance. This is what I call the maximum cognition. The matter of becoming lucid, knowing priority, maintaining holomaterology, and discarding the emotionalism, the commotion. So when we talk about assistance, one of the best assistances we can do is to repair our mistakes in a shorter time. Yeah, we should understand all this and see the advantages, so we can start organizing and imprinting this organization in our behavior, in our conduct. But people in general are, I'm telling among us, okay? Everybody has many skills, is in a comfort zone, there is information galore, and this is a problem in the end. Waldo, give me an example of a reparation of a mistake from other life that you don't have You can't reach the involved people. The reparation is to make a counter fact of that previous mistake, no matter to whom or how. One should make like a rescue or a balance or counterbalance of the previous life's mistake. When you correct a mistake, you will avoid making it again. You have seen the cause, you have seen the price you have paid for doing such mistake. So it's very important for us to face the fact. The problem is the sanization. We never stop thinking. If we don't have discipline regarding our thoughts and our sanity, what I say here is useless. So, consciential hygiene is previous to what we are saying here. When I talk about consciential hygiene, it's not exactly mental one. The mental hygiene is related to the brain. But I'm talking here about the hygiene when, even if you are in this coincidence, or even if you enter some daydreaming or a nightmare, you are able to organize your nightmare. You rectify, you balance those wrong circumstances. You see that that is wrong, and you start rationating correctly within your capacity of reasoning. This is very serious. That's why I always talk about these details, these correction and incorrection actions. Here, self-existential recycling is in general. The main problem is the inner recycling. Waldo, this self-repairing, is this self-repairing always phasanic? No, sometimes it's physical. But the base is for you to dip the roots, the trigger of the fact is the universe, the micro-universe. Or this may be always phasanic, I don't know. Yeah, the broader is, the deeper the root in the consciousness. But all the repairing can be done immediately. It depends. If you start studying the details, the very tiny issues, you can better everything. I can foresee many things since I was an adolescent because of the intimate procedures in my house. I was talking to you before sometime. When I go to the bathroom, what is my goal? Okay, I want to check something in my eye, so I need a mirror. Am I wearing shoes or slippers? Am I on my pajamas or in normal clothing? Sometimes when you are in your pajamas, you relax, you feel free. So the procedures are different from pajamas and normal clothing. If you're on your slippers, it's different from you wearing your shoes. So instead of wearing the slippers, you wear your shoes. You need to think about your right and your left foot. If you're not mad studying this, Yeah, because there are people who can't stand studying oneself. But, okay, if you come to this point, there will be nothing left. You clarify everything and you make what we call dissection. The dissection of the act, the ethological dissection, the behavior dissection, the way you behave, you manifest, you conduct. You see that there are things you must do, at least 4 procedures during the whole act. But if you are organized, this number of procedures decreases. You cut some excessive procedures, or let's say that are secondary. They are not relevant. If any one of you feel like, do this experience. If you go to your houses and watch TV, take a look at what's going to happen. For example, you sit somewhere in a sofa and the telephone rings while you are watching TV. How many procedures do you need to go, answer the phone, and come back? You will see many stupidities you do in your life. And maybe next week, if you take it seriously, you will start thinking, or you start even thousanizing about your own thousanization. For example, oh, I thought about that, but why was I thinking about that? It was not related to what I was doing. Why? Why did I let this interfere, impact? Was this existential generated by myself? This is wrong. This is self-intrusion. So, you see, the person starts analyzing the minimum self-intrusions one makes with itself. It's impressive. What I'm saying here seems to be a joke. First of all, it's not a joke. It's not easy to be done. It looks like it's very easy, but it's not. If you're writing books, you should do this. You know why? To better your ability of investigation, research, experimentology, and recording of your own ideas. Well, these small repairings from day to day, it seems to lead you to big repairings, right? No, let me show you one thing. Okay? Let's say that I have arrived here and I brought all my documents. I have these files, these folders. Okay, I get there, I separate, some are here and others go with me. And someday I come here and I see that I need to give this person something. So I started counting how many manifestations or procedures I needed to do to come here and go back to my house. So I came here to the Tertúlia, but when I left, I didn't lock the door. I reduced one procedure. Okay, you understand? That's how I thought. So I measured where everything was. And I have many papers in my house, in different places. At least 4 sites in my house. So I knew that document was in a specific place. You know how many minutes it took me to go and back from my house? 4 minutes. I got the document and I came back here. And I took note. seeing my watch. Conclusion, I am a Thessanic machine. Right? I am an automatic consciousness based on my own will. Nobody is telling me to do this. I am telling myself. And I am using a fine comb to deal with everything. That's the dissection. When you chop things in thin slices and put it in the microscope. But Waldo, when you do the encyclopedia, you do the encyclopedia seeing many details, right? Yeah, I do this all the time. Yesterday there was a problem with a word, with an accent. I take it for granted because every week there are corrections to be done. So in my computer I put page 1 and I write all the mistakes. And I don't make review. They do the review. Antonio tells me it's impressive what I am able to do because there should be more time. There should be more mistakes. I mean, people make more mistakes than me. And many of the errors that people tell me here are already corrected when I go back to my office. Everything is led to the rational process of accumulation of information. Everything in life is a matter of data collection. If you're working with any idea that's too simple, there must be something wrong. It lacks something. If your idea is thin, it's wrong. Professor, could you elaborate on this theme, this immediate restoration and the ant burr within a group? Within a group, there's no problem. Be it a group, inside, outside, an animal, the nature. The problem is to see logics, priority, and rationalization. This work you do here, could it be a repairing work? Here, you're giving us these classes. When I send a message, the transmission of the communication is the clarification task. Okay? It's an information. In this sense here, it's related to the clarification task. Both entries here that I bought, and even the articles I brought in the magazines, all a matter of information. I guarantee, I assure that among you, many people didn't know about this. You see, I see everything as very serious things we should know. So this is something that I have been doing immediately, an ongoing repairing. And I have created my paradigm for the conduct. There is a pattern in my behavior, a technique. That's how I am. And most of people are not like this. So in Minas Gerais, you see, they said that people like me were called systematic. But it's no big deal. People from Minas Gerais were rude systematics. What I want here is the refined systematic. Life will be intellectualized. Life will be, let's say, reasonable. I would be researcher of the cosmos everywhere. Do you see why my observations come before other people, and people think that I am too much intelligence? No, it's not only parapsychism. I am used to observing things. The same happened to the fruit I was talking about, the kiwi. And I told Roberto, for me there are 4 kinds of kiwi. And he told me, oh, Waldo, you were right. I didn't know that. And he brought to me, there are at least 4 types of kiwi. This way, I try to behave regarding everything. And there is also another hand, the other hand. There are things that I don't care about. For me to focus, not to waste time, to not waste time with insignificant things. I check the details, but release the secondary. You don't see me worried about things like the computers. I don't deal with everything in the computer. I deal with my interests, what's important. Just imagine when you start reasoning the way I am telling you. Imagine how your life could be. Every new idea shows and you're interested in it and you want to collect and you start gathering it. If your memory helps you, you can reach a lot of ideas. If I am tired, I just take note of that new idea and I look for it later. Otherwise, I will demand too much from my memory. Tonight there was a lot of noise and people had this very high volume with the music, so I needed to stop. It was like the African drums.
It was just like Ipanema when they have the carnival. It was the same this night. It was 3:25 in the morning when I woke up. I don't know what side it comes from. Yeah, it's to the other side. I perceived that. But see, so everything is affects my work. So Graça came in the morning. I was working my computer when she came. She came by bus. She was supposed to come She came by plane. She was supposed to come by plane, but she didn't. The driver was very good, she told me.
Então eu poderia inferir. Desculpa, Malu. É que esses dois temas, tanto o ciclo reparatório quanto esse autorrestauração, poderia ser os princípios da restaurabilidade grupocármica?
Are these cycles related to the repairing of the grupokarma? It's a process of self-discernimentology. Here in this entry, which is even more advanced, the information that we have here in generally are the permanent self-correction, continuous rectification, the instantaneous restoration, the continuous right, the concomitant action, the immediate adjustment. You have to see what is the mega focus. What are the themes related to that? Self-disciplination, self-discernimentology, intropsychology, paraethology, organizationology, balanceology, holometeorology, self-coherenceology, and what is the most difficult thing is to be coherent. And the last one is self-priorologic. So it affects the immediate self-recovery, the continuous repairing. It's now and here and now. Theoretical, it's the prevention of the immediate. Is it possible for you to understand that? It's a preventive prevention. You can make a prevention after you had a lot of mistakes. And you have to anticipate the mistake and prevent it. This previous prevention is even more better than the previous one. I don't know if I'm making myself clear. But I'm going to repeat the specific technique, anti-burr. Think about it. It's a specific technique, anti-burr. If we think in this way, all the situation is going to change. Everything gets better. But now, if you want to get all those things right, follow this criteria and this technique, and you are going to make less mistake. And you also are going to feel more secured. If you want to evolve even faster with your parapsychism, do this. Why? Because you are going to make less mistakes and the helpers are going to trust you more. They are not going to waste time with you. So they are going to gain opportunities by working with you. You are going to be tuned. If you are not tuned, it's time to do it. For those who have not the antenna, it's time to get some. I would give you two, one for the left and one for the right. It's a way. A question here. In terms of recovering past mistakes, the law of retaliation has no value. Not always the reparation is equivalent to mistake. Is the assistance the best way to get things better? Yes. Why is necessary the courage in the personal reparation? Well, the person sometimes must have courage to face herself in order to show the proud, the vain, the public image. The person has to defend herself. Another question, the vibrational state technique can expose the person to the intruders? Yes, everyone is exposed to the intruders. Everyone is exposed to the intruders. But without vibrational state, the situation is worse. I'm asking you because I'm having headache and weird thoughts, but I'm not sure if it's an intruder because I can't see him. So the vibrational state is going to balance your energies. So you get a balance with that. It's a balance of your chakras. Another question, I am an engineer,
Estou para apresentar uma proposta de mestrado com base de pesquisa em
performing a work
inovação em bases gerais.
On strategy and innovation. How can I use the conscientiology concepts in my work? How to count with the cosmoetical concept, for example, in my work? You have to see everything related to the verpon. We have a wide range of entries related to this subject. Today we are in the 1,625 entry. It's good for you to take all the entries and take a look. So if you have a business proposal, it's good for you to take a look at those entries. Another question. I'm going to be in Foz do Iguaçu next week in a friend's house, and she's not a penta practitioner. Can I do my painting in her house? Yes, you can help her a lot. The extra-physicals as André Luiz and Joana de Angelo are lucid. It varies, the lucidity varies a lot in terms of percentage. If the person is related to a religion, it means that this person has a minimum lucidity. So if you think about that, you are going to get your own conclusions.
Escuta, nós estamos aqui com a nossa professora Joana,
we have here
que é a secretária de Educação do município de Foz do Iguaçu.
The Secretary of Education.
Parece que ela está por aqui.
It's
ali, gente, umas palmadas para ela.
Let's clap our hands.
Ela é fora de série.
She is extraordinary.
A Joana tem feito muito esforço, como vocês sabem. O processo meu é de educação.
Doing a lot of effort in our work, our process. We are all related to education
Mas eu
here.
falei, nós vamos transformar essa cidade.
So when I came here for the first time, I told everybody that we would transform this city in another thing.
Até alguma coisa. Agora veja, a faculdade primeira mais séria que foi feita aqui,
university that we made here was CIEC. So it's our process, the process of campus CIEC. We have a university here. Remember our friend for Curitiba who wanted to found something with the education ministry. I did in that time I didn't agree with him, but now we are working with those things with Joanna. Here we have already, here in Foz do Iguaçu we have already an example in terms of education. We are a benchmark for the whole state. So they are evaluating the health and education areas. So our mayor is making a major effort to work in both areas, education and health. Another question, when I see pictures from all over the world, I can smell the places. I can feel the smelling. When I see, for example, on the internet, websites on SAPs, I can also perceive the bad smell. Well, there are people who are like this. The sensibility sometimes is real. But in this case, we have examined calmly. In terms of projection, for example, it always involves
inúmeros
process of this
pesquisadores brasileiros
coincidence.
internacionais de renome pesquisam há décadas sobre o
Well,
fenômeno da
another
abdução.
question.
Uns
There are
colocam a hipótese desse
researchers,
fenômeno acontecer na dimensão
national
intrafísica,
and
outros consideram
international,
acontecer na dimensão
they
extrafísica. O que o
research
professor
about
pensa sobre a temática? Qual a sua
abduction,
experiência pessoal nessa
and
área
I'd
de
like to
pesquisa?
know what do you
Não, o
think
que eu vejo é o
about
seguinte,
this subject. What I
a
see is
ufologia
that
é
ufology
97% de fantasia
is
e imaginação e 3% de
97%
realidade.
of imagination
Agora, a
and
realidade mais séria que
3%
eu
of
acho é isso que
reality.
estão tentando agora
But
estudar,
what I
que
think
é
it's
a
really
força
serious
gravitacional.
is what they
Essa
are
força
studying
gravitacional
nowadays,
poderia
which
explicar uma
is
série
the
de
gravitational
condições aí,
force.
tanto intrafísico como extrafísico.
So
amigo
this
meu,
study can explain
há
a lot
mais
of
ou
things.
menos meio século, me perguntou, Waldo,
50 years ago,
você
for
acha
example, I had
que
a
vai
friend who
unir
asked me
naquela
about
ocasião o cara falava, né? A espiritualidade, ou
about
seja,
he asked me
espíritos
about
desencarnados
what
com os
would
espíritos
connect
encarnados que somos nós.
the extraphysical
Eu
and
virei
the
pra ele e falei assim,
intraphysical
uma das
reality,
coisas
and I told him
tem
at that
chance
time
e que
that
pode ajudar é o dia que o homem,
that
vamos dizer, conseguir
when the
dominar
man
um pouco a força gravitacional.
could
O dia que isso acontecer,
dominate the
pode ocorrer muita coisa
vibrational
nova.
gravitational
Agora, por exemplo,
force,
nessa questão
that
de abdução
would be the
e
time
de
to explain
veículos
that.
extraterrestres, etc.
But in terms
tal,
of the extraterrestrial
tudo indica que tem um processo de
vehicles,
relação com a
everything
gravitação.
indicates that there is
Se
a
a
process of
pessoa
gravitation.
conseguir superar o
If
problema
the
da
person
gravitação,
could overcome the
isso quase que vai ser
gravitation,
instantâneo, vai ser quase uma
everything is
desmaterialização
going
das
to
coisas,
be
matéria de
instantaneous.
movimento e outras coisas mais.
It's going to be a
Aí pode ser que nós
dematerialization.
vamos
And in
explicitar
that time
e
we
explicar
we
uma série
could
dessas abduções. Agora,
explain these abductions.
especificamente sobre a
But
abdução.
talking specifically
senhora,
about
há mais
abduction,
ou menos
there is a lady
20, 30 anos aí, umas 3 décadas aí para trás, que eu
about
examinei
3 decades
essa
ago,
senhora
I examined
antes
this
de
lady
certas coisas em matéria de
before
energia.
some
E
facts
depois
in
ela
terms of
chegou
energy,
dizendo
and
que
after
tinha-
that,
que havia
she came back.
uma abdução. E
She
começou a explicar
came back and
tudo que
told me that
aconteceu com
she
ela.
was abducted
Eu, então,
and
fui
explained
fazer o
me
exame
everything,
novamente.
and I
A
examined
voltaico,
her
as coisas
again
todas.
with
E o
the
que eu
voltaic
constatei?
R,
Realmente ela estava
and
diferente.
I really found
A
out that she
energia
was
dela
different. Her
irradiava
energy
da cabeça
was
dela mais ou menos num perímetro
very
de 4,5 metros.
big. She
Ela
she
ficava
had
dentro de um círculo de
an
9
energy of
metros,
4 meters.
aonde ela aparecia.
Of energy,
Agora, com o
a
passar do tempo,
perimeter
eu falei assim, ó,
of
isso
4
aí vai
meters.
Diminuir.
And I told her that would
Você recebeu um
decrease.
fluxo de energia que
She
fixou.
she
Em vez de
received
ficar esse processo do bloqueio
bunch
permanente
of
da energia
energy.
gravitante, ela recebeu uma coisa tipo Itaipu, né?
she received
Negócio
something
por
like
atacado, grande.
Itaipu Dam,
Agora, o que se
a
passa?
wholesale condition
Ela então foi
in terms of
embora,
energy.
ela
So
tocava
she left, she
piano,
used to play
apresentava
piano, and
shows de
she
piano,
used
aquela
to
coisa
give
toda. Ela
concerts.
esteve até no Japão.
She went
dando
even
show
to
de piano
Japan,
dela. Ela pianista.
playing piano.
Agora, quando ela voltou, eu
And
fui olhar. Então, vocês
when
vejam
she
bem,
came
eu olhei ela
back,
3 vezes em épocas
I
diferentes.
examined
Ela já não tinha mais
her
nada.
again,
Tá tudo na cabeça dela. Você notava
and
que tinha energia.
the
e o
energy
negócio
was
estava nela.
over.
Os 4,5 metros tinham
So
desaparecido.
the 4
Agora,
meters had
Muitas das
disappeared,
pessoas que a
and
BRAP, a Associação Brasileira
so
de
I examined her in
Parapsicologia,
3 different
levava lá
times.
para examinar lá em Ipanema,
And there were a lot of people that
quando
the
era
people
de
from
base que a pessoa
para
falava e reclamava negócio de abdução ou processo de extraterrestre,
psychology,
geralmente
they
tinha
took me
alguma
people
coisa na
there to be
psicosfera
examined.
estranha, como se fosse
And
um corpo estranho, alguma coisa
The
diferente
people
que
who
montou em cima da
used
pessoa.
to say that they
Eu já
were
contei aqui o
abducted,
caso do
they
rapaz que
had
chegou lá, que estava
something
desesperado,
strange.
que tiraram
in terms
o
of
aparelho da
energy.
cabeça dele. Então ele chegou lá, nós colocamos energia e o
There
tal
was
mal colocou de
there
novo
was a
energia
guy, for
nele.
example,
A
who
energia dele vinha
came
até o ombro. E ele sentia aquilo tudo.
came and
Então ele viu que ele
I
estava
made
pelado. Não, eu estou me sentindo que eu estou nu.
and
Eu não
specific
posso andar
work with
assim,
Tal
você
Mal,
está com roupa. Não,
with
mas
him,
eu
and
estou nu.
the
Tá
guy
faltando.
felt
Então
himself
veja, ele se
naked.
sentia aleijado.
he was
ele se sentia mutilado,
feeling
o seu processo de energia. E aquilo ele pegou no
disabled
Nordeste e foi para o Rio para poder examinar, porque ele estava ficando doido.
because of that
Agora, veja,
energy, that
energeticamente
weird
tem uma
energy that they
Então, por
put
exemplo,
in
a
him.
minha prova
For
do
example,
processo
my proof
da
of the process
ufologia,
in terms
ela
of
se baseia na
ufology is
psicosfera das
based
pessoas.
on the examination
Agora,
of this
é lógico que eu vi, né?
people's
Tem aquele
psychosphere.
caso meu que eu estava lá em Ipanema.
So, but it's logical. I also had my own
Quando estava fora do
experience,
corpo, quando eu vi o
and I
negócio
was
que
out of my
apareceu
body. Then
em
there
cima
there
lá do
was
Aí,
something
eu
flying
olhei aqui,
over
falei,
the slam,
que é isso aqui?
and
Esse
I was like,
negócio é
"What?
diferente."
What is
Aí
this?
chegou
There's something
o
different."
coordenador falou assim,
And
vai
the
para o seu
helper
corpo
told
e
me,
chega na
"Go
janela.
back to your
Abre a
body,
janela e olha
and
fisicamente o que está acontecendo.
when you are in the
Eu vim
intraphysical
novamente
condition,
para o corpo, vim
take a look
depressa,
to the
abri a
slam
janela e olhei
again."
para o lugar
And then I
onde que eu
came
tinha
back
visto o negócio lá
and
do
I
corpo,
took
em
a
cima
look
do
again.
morro. Sabe, o morro lá do Cantagalo.
So it was the
Aí
Cantagalo
aquele
slam.
estava assim, ó, e eu vi bem claro.
And
as
then I
luzes, o
could
negócio
see
aí,
the lights and the
Subiu.
thing did movements
outro
like
dia eu saí
this
na
and
rua
disappeared.
pra
And then I
perguntar.
went
Fui ao
out
jornaleiro,
for a walk.
fui às
I went
vendas que eu
to
conheci desse cara. Eu
the
falei assim, vem cá, tem
newsman
alguma novidade
and met
aí,
some
alguma coisa
guys.
nova?
And I was
Não,
like
tem nada.
asking the guys,
Você viu
"Oh
alguém falando
wow,
alguma coisa
do you
nova?"
have something
Cheguei
new
no outro,
here?"
não. Aí um cara, na hora que eu estava
And
no Pirajá, passando
I
para
was
Copacabana, um cara
in
falou assim,
the-
não, teve sim. Eu vi um disco
in
voador,
my way
mais ou
to
menos depois da
Copacabana, and
meia-noite.
I met
Aqui
a
em cima
guy
do
who
Ipanema. É a
saw
hora
the
que
same thing at the same time that I
Quer dizer,
did.
houve alguma coisa
So,
ali, um troço, alguma
there was
coisa, não sei,
something
mas
in
foi
there.
só um que eu vi.
But it was the
O
only
cara
one that I
estava lá
saw.
perto daquela boate.
The
Lembra
guy
que tinha uma
was
boate
close
com
to a nightclub.
um negócio
Do
na
you
frente,
remember?
assim,
There was a
na
nightclub
Visconde
with
Pirajá, lá na
a
frente,
big
no
sign
no fim, no início.
at the end
né?
of the
Eu encontrei
Visconde
com
do
um cara lá, eu
Pirajá.
comecei a perguntar a todo mundo, vem cá, você notou alguma
Well,
coisa
I went
diferente?
there
Alguma
and I
coisa? Não falava o
started
quê?
asking
Não, teve um
everyone
disco voador essa noite, qual a hora
about
depois da
the
meia-noite?
flying
Foi
saucer.
justamente o horário.
And
A hora
this
que eu
guy
digo,
saw.
foi embora, era mais ou menos meia-noite e
It
35, quer dizer,
was
35 minutos da madrugada.
12:30 in the morning when I
De
saw,
modo que
and
essas
the guy
coisas, eu
saw
acho
the
que
same thing at the same
negócio tem.
time.
Agora, outra
So,
coisa.
That's why I think there is
Tem uma
something
projeção, na época eu estava fazendo muita projeção, na década de
that,
70.
you know, in the
Eu estava
70s
no
I
meu
was
apartamento
projecting
lá
a
no
lot.
Pirajá,
I was in this
e
apartment
estava
in the
muito
Visconde do
preocupado
Pirajá,
com o homem, que eu estava
and I was
trabalhando
very
com ele, com
worried
as
about a
energias.
man. I was working with
E era
him
uma
in
pessoa
terms of
muito
energy.
boa,
He was a very good
que
guy.
podia ser, assim, melhorar, porque eu sabia que o negócio
You
dele
know,
era de energia.
I knew that
Então,
the
comecei a
problem
trabalhar,
of
mas
this
estava
guy
muito
would
preocupado com
be
aquilo.
something related
Com
to
aquela
energy.
preocupação,
He
eu
could
comecei
get
a
better
estudar
just changing the
energia, aquele
energies.
negócio todo.
I was very
E fui
worried
dormir.
about him, and then I
Senti
went
que
to the
devia,
bed.
relaxei, dei culpa,
I relaxed,
fiquei. Daí a
and
pouco, eu vi
in
que eu
some
estava fora do
minutes,
corpo,
I
e o negócio
I perceived
estava me puxando
myself
pelo traseiro,
out
pelas
of
costas.
the
Aquele
body.
negócio,
Something
uma
was
coisa.
pulling me by
Eu comecei a olhar,
my
e eu vi,
back,
saí do quarto,
and then I got out of the body, got out of the bedroom,
depois aquilo sumiu.
the
E eu
neighborhood,
comecei, quando eu vi,
and
eu estava entrando
everything
dentro do
disappeared.
negócio, parecia
And then I perceived
ônibus grande.
myself entering a
Aí eu
place
entrei lá, olhei aquilo
like
tudo,
a big
tinha
bus.
gente conversando,
There were
com
people
outra,
there
aquela coisa.
talking.
Não notei nada, nenhuma
I
novidade, nada.
could not
Mas
notice
fui andando.
anything new,
Lá
but I
dentro.
was
Aí
walking
uma mulher
there.
chegou para mim e disse,
There was a lady who
"Seu
came up
homem,
to
você
me
pode ficar
and
descansado, que nós estamos trabalhando com
she
ele, ele
told
vai
me
melhorar."
to
É aquilo.
not
Você dá uma olhadela aqui, depois você volta.
be worried about the guy I was
Então, eu dei uma olhadela
helping,
naquilo tudo,
and
pra ver se
she
via
told me
alguém que eu
also,
conhecia. Não vi
also
ninguém
to
que eu
take a look
conhecia.
to the environment.
Examinei aquilo tudo.
I examined
aí, daí a pouco eu
everything,
vi,
and then I
me deu
saw.
vontade de voltar para o corpo, eu pensei, aí eu fui puxado. Do
And
mesmo jeito.
Suddenly I came back to the body because I
Quer dizer,
felt like doing it, and I started
tem algum
thinking about.
processo extrafísico
So
junto com isso tudo
that
que a gente
means
não
that
sabe
there is an
o que é.
extraphysical process that we don't know what it is, and there is something.
Tocada, por exemplo, por estado vibracional vindo de fora.
So
aceleração
if a
de partículas que
vibrational
faz
state
essa
comes
transportação do
from
corpo,
an
né?
external source,
O estado
can
vibracional ele é isso,
make
né?
Eu vejo que eles têm mais
dematerialization.
facilidade de mexer se a pessoa entrar na descoincidência.
So it's easier to
Isso
deal
é
with
minha
that
opinião,
if
faz
the
muito
person
tempo
is
que eu observei.
discoincident.
Uma pessoa física é muito mais difícil de mexer.
If someone physical,
que é muito
it's
assim,
even hard to deal with that.
Essa é muito difícil entrar nisso.
For those who have no sensibility, it's hard to deal with that.
Eu penso que eles têm dificuldade de mexer com isso.
I think they have difficulties to deal with that, but the person is more discoincident. They work better with this person. It's a 50-50% of effort.
E você joga o processo extrafísico. Você encontra no meio o negócio dá certo.
They make their part, and you, by getting this coincidence, make your part, and we have a 50-50 condition.
Então é preciso a gente ainda verificar isso.
It's necessary to verify that. And the ectoplasmy has a specific role in this situation. Yes, everything is related to ectoplasm.
For example,
something really serious is the piano player that I examined.
Eu vi a senhora 3 vezes. Durante 4
years, I saw her 3 times during 4 years.
Só com ela. Mas
and then I saw the process was personal, was just with her.
Agora, veja bem, aquela energia.
See, that energy from the beginning was.
É difícil de expor isso.
It's hard to explain that.
A pessoa fica mais lúcida.
The person gets a little bit more lucid within this area.
Mais inteligente.
So the person became more intelligent.
It
depends on what you are interested in, or you are worried in the specific day. That's what I could perceive in her case. Do you think that there is something related to the centros, the extraphysical centros?
Não. Diretamente não tem nada a ver com a centrais.
No, there is nothing to do, in my opinion, with the center, but they know each other. The group from the extraphysical centers know about the group from the abduction, but we have here 2 different departments. I haven't seen the joint of those things so far, but I admit everything. In the same way that I admit the process of shaman and the kahunas. So the fracture readjustment, the process of the exteriorization of energy, the tissue regeneration, I think everything is related to the same process. Another thing, I cannot dismiss the reality because of the process of the monja. Sometimes she, just by doing this gesture, everything used it to get better. The environment, a little children, a little child. It was a blast of energy. Sometimes on TV they show the process of cartoon. Well, when they put like a color, and for example a yellow, and everything gets yellow, it's something like that. And the process was just like that without calling any attention. It was very elegant. I don't know if the right word is elegance. It was within a natural condition. We cannot correct anything. It was really extraordinary. It was really refined. I could see that when she was a person, an interphysical person, but I haven't seen anything like that. If there there's going to be a day that a spaceship is going to land in the Peace Square. We gotta ask if there is a Sereníssimos in there. And I don't think there's going to be. Professor, I would like you to explain better the domination of gravitation, helping the abduction and everything.
O problema todo é que a gravitação é
The
uma das
gravitation
forças
is
básicas
the
que tem
basic
por aí. Você sabe que tem várias forças. A gravitação está no meio
of
disso.
the intraphysical world. The gravitation is related to that. If this force disappears, it's going to be a chaos.
Então o equilíbrio de tudo está nisso.
Chaos.
Não é o processo, por exemplo, o eixo de gravitação da Terra.
It's not a process of the gravitation of the Earth, but the gravitational force which are sustaining of everything.
Alguma coisa de outro planeta que está vindo até
If there's something from another planet that comes to our direction,
a força gravitacional
has to have the gravitational force. This object dominates this gravitation. It's not the following of the apple, it's something really serious. So what we need to get into the details of the structure of this gravitational energy. How does it work?
Agora veja, até que ponto, por exemplo, a energia gravitacional seria a energia imanente pouquinho já mais óbvia.
I don't know.
A gente não sabe.
The point that makes the difference between the gravitational energy and the immanent energy.
Sim, lúcida, a partir da consciência.
Although here we talk about in the phenology, in the lucid consciousness.
Ela percebe no
when it happens with the extra-physical consciousness, in the intermissive period.
Ou teria uma outra,
do you give the same name for that, repair cycle, or is another condition?
A manifestação como ela ocorre.
Well, it's a semantic issue.
Essa reparação,
it's just a matter of changing names.
A consciência estaria lúcida
Once
para o
the
erro,
extra-physical is lucid
isso
for the
entraria
mistakes.
numa cláusula da ProEx?
Could this enter in a Praxis clause?
Agora, ó, Marcelo, a hora que eu falei com sim lúcida,
by the time that I told you about the lucid consciousness is because I don't trust in the non-lucid consciousness. I was born in Minas Gerais. I make research of everything. Everything is possible. Look, this footballer on TV. Everyone is astonished looking at this situation. How can an idol like this, a man with fame and everything, he is the boss of the team. So he is the captain of his team. And he is involved in this situation. So it's something, you know, he's an idol.
Agora é a hora da queda do mito.
When I tell you about the myth,
ele fala assim, não, nós não podemos ir contra o Chico Xavier, que é um mito.
I always say that we cannot go against the Chico Xavier because he is a myth.
Sobre a sua pessoa.
But the helper told me that it's possible with me, for example. When we do the advertisement on TV, but in this case of this footballer is very negative. He is destroyed, definitely destroyed. So let's understand how the process of the lucid consciousness is something big. So I think the lucid people are you guys. You have great personality. You are lucid because for those who don't have lucidity and the person gets a fanatic condition and the person doesn't change.
Não há melhoria.
He doesn't get
É problema.
right, better
Agora,
in any.
Na mega euforização de
In mega euphorization from last Thursday, a participant said that his teeth were shivering. I felt the same sensation 3 times, and I need to leave my mouth open to feel more comfortable. What does it mean? And also the sensation of cold during the energy work. Shivering teeth is a hell process. It's from the barathosphere. You see, he did this movement. It's the shivering of the teeth. There are people that shiver their teeth when they sleep. Today we call it bruxism. So what happens in this condition? In terms of energy, it's something different, okay? When there is energy on one's head and it looks like there is this explosion and the top of the head is out, regarding the intracranial nerves, everything is mixed. There is a tension. So the first articulation there is in our head is our jaw. The monkey jaw, you see? The monkey process. I have studied this a lot because of the mouth surgeries, all these articulations here in each side. This is what moves. When energy is very strong, it impacts exactly in this articulation, closer to your brain. There are other articulations on your shoulders, your head, neck, but this one is more serious. This shows that the one who had been through this process is in high level of encephalic or brain parapsychical development of the energies. This is moving a lot. Both the one that participated here in CAEG as well as the one who is sending this question are very improved. It's just like paresthesia, like arrhythmia. Everything is the same context, you see? Other thing, the ballonment. The ballonment, when you feel like blowing, you see? And amplifying your body, your physical body. In the Tertúlia in 2008, you said that you had visited New York library. Do you have any conclusion about the Eastern books? Have you seen any interesting book there? I was looking for some news, but in general, he told me that in all those shelters, there was nothing important for me. So he invited me to go to his office, and when I entered his office, there really were many rare books. But I had never seen anything that I didn't know yet. There was also a book that I knew, and I bought one just like that in London the year before, and it was very rare. All these books are here in Holoteca. In his case, the Eastern process was taken for granted. But he was not stupid. He knew about Hippolyte, the birthmark, its subtlety. even for those who study a lot, who are very technical researchers. And he saw me, he talked to me, but he didn't see my birthmark. So how could he know that? And he didn't say about the wrong arm. He went straight to the left arm. And you feel like dizzy. I imagine what level of lucidity this man had. Who was this old man? Could he be an evolutionologist? It's possible. I wanted to get in touch later, but they had closed the library, the bookstore. And they took me there, my friends took me there, because I always see people in the end. They tell me to visit these people before they decimate. They tell me, go find your books, because this person is going to die. It happened in Uberaba, it happened in Italy, it happened in New York. That was the time. I couldn't live for tomorrow, for the day after. Waldo, in page 23, theoryology, could you explain about the theory of coherence? This theory is related to the person that needs to gather all the contexts, all the models of manifestation, and to make a convergence. Pay attention, okay? In the proxemic and in chronemics. That's what we call theory of the coherence. Whatever you intend to do needs to be coherent to what you have done before and to what you're going to do in the future, in all levels. Space and time. You are in the physics continuum. There's no way out. And this is not the worst. Think about the para-chronology and the multi-dimensions. So coherence from the parapsychism point of view is even worse. It demands even 90% more. But with the theory of the coherence, you reach the helper, the evolutionologist, and the Serenissimus faster. And without coherence, you will never reach these people. You always ask me, and there are many people astonished about this, but how does the evolutionologist know about this? What's going to happen? One of the techniques is the theory of the coherence. Everyone here has a certain level of coherence. He, the evolutionologist, knows this level, and he knows that his or her breath limit in this issue is this. The person can't give more, and he can't ask for more. So is it related to the formulation of praxis when he's helping to determine everything? Yeah, everything. Now pay attention, when I value the details, the circumstances, and people think that I am crazy, or even when I don't give a damn what they think, and they also think I'm crazy, and when there was this guy that came to me and said, oh, you came here to Foz do Iguaçu, you are like a hurricane, and we think there are many things that are very difficult to be done. I didn't say I was going to do next month, but the next years. Yeah, but Mr. Waldo, you told us that you need $3 million to start. Do you have this money? I told them, no, but I have friends that have this money. It was in 1995.
Então veja bem, isso é coerência.
This is
Então
coherence.
veja, essa coerência de expor
And this coherence of
com isso.
showing
Como eu me
this
preocupo
fact
com aquilo que eles falam
doesn't
no
worry me.
Orkut, blog,
Just the
etc.
same way I'm not worried
Mas
about
agora, outra
Orkut
coisa que
or
eu
blogs
Eu
and
não
all
me
this stuff.
preocupo também
And I'm not
quando eu
worried
vejo que a pessoa não quer
when
entender o que ela
people
está fazendo.
don't
Você
want to understand what we're doing.
Vamos,
You just leave it.
respeitar a condição, o
You
posicionamento
just
da pessoa.
respect
É o direito dela.
people's
Mas
positioning.
aí, essa teoria
They have
da
the right
coerência,
to
essa
do this.
convergência,
But this theory of the
que você
coherence
É a
is
teoria
the
da
convergence.
convergência e da coerência,
Yeah, the
da
convergence or the confluence or the coherence
a
leads
antipodia
people to the antipody
do processo
of
da homi-super
the
e
super and the deficitary emission.
Isso aí é que faz você contrabalançar.
You
Que hora que você vai
counterbalance
deixar
your
de fazer
emissions.
isso?
You
Que hora
know
você
when
tem
you
que
need to
fazer
stop doing something
Agora,
or you need to
comigo,
start
gente
doing
me olhava
something.
tanto, E teve gente que olhou uma situação que eu fiz ano.
And there were many people that
Valdo, você
saw what I did, and 3 years later
a sua condição.
they told me,
Você deu
"Oh,
conta
but
dessa
Valdo,
etapa.
you are against your own ideas
Vamos
from the
examinar o
past."
contexto. Isso que eu chamo
And I
de
told him, "No, no, no,
organização.
no. Let's
Aí, coloquei
check
no papel e
the
mostrei
context."
pra ele. Eu não vi-
So I put in a paper and I showed my ideas and I argued. Because when you are living, you are coexisting with the same people, and when the person doesn't have a refinement, doesn't deepen the knowledge, everything seems the same. And that's what happened.
Agora, Valdo, o
But
que
when
você
I showed
acha
my
que,
ideas,
no caso
she
nosso
knew
da
I was right.
Cagnópolis, mais dificulta
But Valdo, in
o desenvolvimento
Cognopolis,
da
what
coerência? Qual é o fator dificultante
hampers
na média
the
nossa?
development of the coherence? I think that
Facilidade,
facilitate
zona
the
de conforto.
bonanza,
Entende? A
the
bastante.
comfort zone,
O nome não é esse, não. Você sabe, é uma coisa, né, de trazer.
the abundance.
É abundância. O problema é que nós estamos vivendo na época da
We're living
Valdo.
in a time with
Aqui
many
no B,
information.
na parafatologia, você
Valdo,
pode
in
falar
letter
mais
B,
sobre a
in
paraplástica,
parafactology,
reparadora
could you
de
talk
tecidos
about
somáticos?
psychosomatic
O problema todo é o seguinte,
repairing
quando
plastic surgery?
A pessoa, ela começa a ter lucidez.
Yeah, it is when you start having lucidity and you have done the intermissive course, you start repairing all your mistakes from previous lives. This way you discard all the scars related to wrong things you did and were marking your psychosoma. All these scars disappear
A recomposição
by means of the recomposition, the reconstruction of one's life. So you make pieces with your evolutionary group elements, group karma interpretation finishes. It comes to a point when you can develop your parapsychism in such a way that even your psychosoma changes. So there is the eruption of the psychosoma during the vigil life, the awakening,
Então ela já chegou àquela condição que era moral,
the awakening
que
period.
colocava a ela totalmente casca grossa, ela
And
começa a ficar mais refinada.
When you used to
e
be
o
completely
parapsíquico começa a aparecer
thick layered with
de uma
energies,
maneira mais evidente.
you change and you start improving your parapsychism.
Na página
Letter A,
24,
Professor, in page 24, trinomiology, I would like to understand what is the omnicorrection.
E se está onde você está falando?
A segunda linha de trinomiologia.
Second line,
Trinomiologia.
Binômio.
trinomiology.
Trinômio. O trinômio autocorreção,
The trinomial
e omnicorreção.
Self-correction,
Isso aqui é o seguinte, a
heterocorrection,
autocorreção é a pessoa
and omnicorrection.
que reconhece que errou.
It happens when one recognizes that you had
Aquele
made a
erro
mistake,
tinha atingido outra pessoa.
but
Ela vai ter
that
que corrigir
mistake
fora também.
reached
Vai ter
another
pelo
person.
menos que entrar dentro de uma
So
condição
The first guy needs to enter a pacification process regarding that other consciousness. But it also involves the whole group they are inserted. And this omnicorrection reaches the whole group, the interprison. For example, there are people who have difficulty to recover from the group karmic interprison because the problem that needs to be repaired is not only based on one person, but 3, 5, 15 people. So it's more complex. If you become public, it is very dangerous for you regarding your destiny. That's why Serenismus has two advantages. He uses his Serenismology to do assistance, and there is no way he makes mistake, and he's not showing any of his actions. I am a public person. It gives me a lot of problems. And when I say I am a guinea pig and I talk about myself, they say, oh, you talk too much about yourself. If I talk about myself, it means that I have boldness. I have the courage to do so. But it always works. The book, for example, works as a repairing cycle. It's like a document. It's apologizing document. That's why it's worth to write the book. Waldo, you said you were talking about the immediate restoration, and you talk about the consensual hygiene. Do you think there is, or there are some concepts within consensual hygiene like linearity, will, discernment, that are related to each person? So the hygiene is prioritary in that sense. Well, each person has a need, has tendencies, has a different style. So you should adapt. There are people, Eduardo, that I think that for them pride is more serious than the misery problem. I have seen this in Minas Gerais. I've seen miserable people that they didn't care about that. And they even liked to be called miserable people. So how do you deal with this? You just forget this person. Yeah, they like the mega weak trait. And they had all the other names related to that weak trait. So he used to ask me, is this misery thing the same as those who don't like to spend money and they just keep all the money for themselves? Yeah, and they told me all those names they were called. So it was the perfect profile. So think about this, okay? So there is a coherence within its pathology. Yeah, about another thing regarding consensual hygiene and will. So before making the vibrational state, one needs to want to do the vibrational state. Is this will process or this perception possible to come before other concepts like intention? A person can arrange the attributes in the way one wants. Okay, you can even leave the consecutive normal way. Everything can happen. You can even put the horse before the cart before the horses. But the biggest mistake is the lack of coherence. When you start talking and you haven't done anything like that. If we talk about things we haven't done, we are talking about projects or even anti-projects. But if you talk about something that is settled or established and you haven't done that, it's just like Brazil's administration. The works are just in the start and they make the inauguration. The works is just in progress. This week we had the Carta Capital, and Carta Capital newspaper had an article showing that they are for the candidate called Dilma for the presidency of Brazil. In Europe, it's very common for newspapers to declare, to state their positioning. But in Brazil, we don't see the same happening. It's a pity. Milho Carta is from the Carta Capital, but he's defending Dilma's candidate. At least he shows he's coherent. He was for Lula's administration for a long time. Anyone could see, but he hadn't made such a statement like he did this week. I'm just telling you that this is different. This is the first time I have seen such a fact in the last decades in Brazil.
Agora, eles jogam com tudo que pode. Agora, é preciso saber no Carta Capital.
In Carta Capital newspaper, we could know how much money they have invested in this newspaper, right?
Eu não sei.
We just make some hypotheses. Question. When I exteriorize energy to a consciousness, does it know that it's me? Yes or no? Well, it depends on the level of acuity or hyperacuity and the parapsychism of the consciousness. By putting the name of the consciousnesses in my pentaprats, do they appear there? Well, do penta and you will see what happens. Considering that physics uses the name field for every kind of force they can't determine exactly, could we infer there is the possibility of this gravitation process to be related to a Thessanic coordination of most advanced energies and consciousnesses structuring it? Yes, this is an hypothesis. But it's all settled, okay? You don't need to follow up. You don't need to have a follow-up. Several times I could see project in a projection way many huge spacecraft like flying saucers. You have commented about this paratransportation, and I have experienced a kind of technology that makes me this coincidence and pulls me with great speed through another tube somewhere else. Well, you are in a process that I call energetic flow or energetic chain. Many times there were parasurgeries. So what's the meaning? What's the reason I can't see clearly all these episodes? Well, the problem is for you to make a projection and locate where this energetic chains happen to establish a difference between this and extraterrestrial ships. Something good is for you to take advantage of carnival, like the big cities. You could go to some darker places from this megalopolis and visit. And when you, all of a sudden you see you are just split, you are thrown away from the center of the town. And you just stumble. It's not everything organized. There is a huge energy that throws you away. Just like there was a trail, energetic trail, different from human trails. About regarding the coherence, what is the tip for us to increase our coherence? Well, first of all, one should use the vicinity. The best would be the 5 hours reflection technique. So you might ask me, what will I think about during these 5 hours? Exactly about the lack of coherence. For example, in this technique, you sit down and you see that we are starting July, okay? So how incoherent was I during the past 6 months? And use the maximum of intelligence that one has reached this moment, okay? And you make an inventory with lots of self-critique all the time. Waldo, up to what point analogic thassinization can help us? Well, if you use analogical vicinity, you will increase your cosmovision, because if your vicinity is too little, too specific, too departmentalized, you make a restriction of vicinization. You need to see the focus. Does your research have arms joining other subjects? Waldo, that's what I was going to ask. In the search for this survey, we should confront our cosmoethic codes and all our attributes. Yeah, when I bring these themes that are apparently common, and when I start explaining, and you see they're not so common, you see that I am difficult. I am complex. I'm a complex person. All of you are difficult. But in my case, my difficulty helps me. Most of your difficulties worsen you.
What I want is just to change. I want you to change your difficulty and make it useful, and get rid of the difficulties that are not useful. They are useless, which are the self-mimesis. So, what you said about the minutes, the details, without self-discernment would be obsessive-compulsive syndrome, isn't it? Yeah, we have a monkey as an example. He has a lot of reason in a lot of things. What is his problem is that he doesn't connect things. He doesn't have a cosmovision. He just sees one thing. But the base that he has is very useful, is good. Another thing is that these movies, they show that the man, he solves the problem. Doesn't matter the way. He knows how to do this, the application. But what I want is that the monkey would do this for everything. So I'd like to have him solving his biggest problem, which is himself. So he's just the same as the conventional science guys. He solves everything, but he cannot solve himself. So someone asked me an example of someone who looks like the monkey. And then I told him that there are millions of people like that. So this technique that you said, but see, this process of coherence is later, is after all that, happens after that. But, for example, in terms of, the time that he goes and talks to the psychology,
que na prática isso não funciona.
It doesn't work in a practical way.
Ele tem receio
because he is afraid
de pensar do jeito que o psicólogo pensa.
In the same way that the psychologist
thinks.
Dele
é mais do que a síndrome do pânico.
So this fear is bigger than the panic syndrome. That's
Agora,
why
exemplo,
he leaves all the things. But the first thing that he doesn't have is the basic coherence. The blonde girl from the movie always tells him all the things. And the other lady used to tell him. And
o cara fora de hora,
it didn't work.
Do contexto,
and he was, out of the context, worried about, small things. Oh, this is not right. It's serious. So he had a serious issue to be solved, and it became secondary. The consciential therapy shows that and gives us this technique to observe all the details. Do you remember in the last year you gave us a suggestion for the teachers from the advanced one to attend the therapy, and
Na verdade, somos mas 5 mais ativos.
We are in 7 people in this team, and 5 people
então, primeiro a gente
went and took those therapies, but before we applied all the techniques in order to give an example to others. But in the future, I tell you, it's going to be we're going to have a very big value in this situation. We have here something really big thing. It's the final value. So you are teachers. So they're going to help the consciential therapists. You haven't thought about that.
Exatamente isso, que com a troca que nós tivemos,
so we had an exchange already
das técnicas e práticas de outro, enriqueceu os dois lados. Todo mundo começou
was again for both sides. It was a good game. Some of the consciential therapists should teach.
Aquela norma que você colocou que não era o ideal.
But you told that it's not an ideal to have this condition.
O Nário fez essa observação.
It's not ideal when they do both activities at the same time. But
o que eles observaram na
gente, it can be done.
Todos eram professores.
But think.
Vocês, a consciência terapia, as ICs permanecerem firmes nisso.
Think about if the ICs, they maintain this work. Think how they are going to be in some years.
Que a gente associa o fato imediato.
So the analogical association is good. It's the best thing that the teachers do.
vocês docentes vão chupar os trafores dos
there's going to be in the future a condition that you are going to exchange
E dos trafores é justamente
strong
essa técnica,
traits.
porque a gente está às vezes narrando uma coisa qualquer e pergunta,
The
mas
strong
por que foi
trait
assim?
of a
Mas daqui
teacher
você passou
is
para o quê? Um
to
tipo de
make
especialização que
analysis.
geralmente a gente não usa, que é essa técnica que você comentou
which is
hoje,
the same that
dessa observação. Você ia para
this
casa, você
technique
deixou a
that
porta
you
estrangada,
said
já
told
mostrei,
us today.
Disso eu já mostrei no turno mental somático.
So I have shown this in the mental somatic
São os detalhes.
turn. We have to examine the details.
Agora, o ideal
The ideal is when the person starts doing that the way I explain it, and the person has to examine everything before. It's very impressive.
Agora, uma coisa que vai ser inevitável.
Another thing
como é que é? O que é que ela ganha?
That's going to happen is the value that the person gains is
primeiro valor
to
agregado
increase.
É ela desagregar o desvalor. Aquilo que não tem valor que ela vai jogar fora.
So the added value is going to be very big.
Quer dizer, eu podia ir reto aqui, não.
So the person is going to realize the foolish things that he or she does. So the person goes to Buenos Aires via Paris. So when the person applies this technique, the person is going to eliminate this kind of insanity. It's an extraordinary gain. So you have to think in a situation like that. But
aonde quer que seja,
the place, the date, the time, the condition, the person, the context.
Sempre eu garanto. Se a pessoa nunca fez isso, vai ter coisa para ela retificar.
Always
Se ela
going
tiver
to show
pós-moética,
what the person has to have to change.
Sempre ela vai achar alguma coisa.
So the person is going to find in all those conditions something to be changed. Sometimes we create habits that are not positive, they are wrong. And the person starts repeating the habit.
Considerada insignificante ou desprezível, ou pelo menos você menospreza. Não é só despreza, mas menospreza.
Underestimate
então, você já, não, isso aí não.
Wrong thing,
então, a hora que ela
you
começa
start improving
a ver
it.
Isso,
so by the time that the person starts to realize about that, so the person starts to be suspicious about herself or himself. And the person starts asking, where am I? How am I spending all this time with the wrong things? It's not easy. I think the process that I'm talking about must be studied by conscious, the IC. Professor here in letter B. So within this line of coherence, period, and convergence, I want to know if there is a relation with the flow of interexistentiality. Well, I'm going to tell you something definitive. This theory places the observer close to understand the synchronicity. Without this theory, the synchronicity would be far away from the researcher's comprehension. The researcher needs this coherence to understand this synchronicity. The synchronicity is the coherence, factual and parafactual coherence in a very big expression. So with this, we answer your question in a cosmophysiological way. So when we start to observe these facts and parafacts, well, the person starts to understand the process of synchronicity. So it's the way that that the person gets in a flow in order to make assistance. Yes, and another thing that the person is going to give value to the positive thing and is going to eliminate the accidents. And as I told you, the person is going to eliminate the burr. By the time that the person is doing things, he or she is going to improving it, getting dirty and getting clean all the things, and disorganizing and organizing everything. So, like my wife, she talks to me and we are doing something at home, and she says, "Oh, in your case it's different because everything is clean," and that's it. So my things, when I am, everything is organized. There's no changes. If there's a little hair in a different place, I know. Do you understand that? So, for example, my bathroom. My bathroom is, pay attention, it has a kind of a marble. It's kind of a mirror. It's all around the walls and also on the floor. It's white. So when you get there, if you get there and you take a look, if there is something wrong, it can be seen because it's very wide. So it's get my daily procedures even better. It's part of my organization because someone in my age has a better organization. So this bathroom was built on purpose. This marble is very expensive, and it was the last. When I went to the store, it was the last part of the storage, and then I bought everything. And, you know, we bought big marble plates, and it was just my dream. It was my golden dream. This is the best building ever around here. It was made by Everton, the architect. Everything is to get easier the consecutive procedure, one after other, the chain reaction of factors that you determine. That's the right way. But another thing, serious, just to tell you, it's good for Loshi to know that for those who want to get into this correct procedure is to have isolation. Sometimes the person must have isolation in order to think without any external influence. Otherwise, the person wants to, you know, to agree with someone in the house. So, by being isolated, the person is going to help more people. In terms of definition, the understanding, the dedication of things that must be done in order to get renovation.
As pontuações da tertúlia de hoje foram 113 assinaturas no livro de presença, 14 perguntas presenciais, 12 perguntas respondidas online, 54 votos presenciais, 17 votos online. Hoje temos 5 recados. Tatiana convida os professores de Conscienciologia, Júlio, Pai, Biografia, Carla, Igor, SP3, Uberaba, Maria Isabel, Governança, Unicim, Maria Lisa, Congresso e Serenologia. E antes, Eduardo vai falar sobre amigos e
And before that, Eduardo is going to talk about Encyclopedia France.
Boa tarde a todos.
Good afternoon,
Nós gostaríamos de
all. We would
convidar
like to
aquelas
invite
pessoas interessadas
those
em ajudar
who are
aqui na
interested
enciclopédia
to
da
help
Conscienciologia a se
the
tornarem amigos da enciclopédia.
Conscienciology
Tá?
Encyclopedia
O amigo da enciclopédia
to
é
become
hoje, aqui dentro da
Encyclopedia
comunidade
Friends.
cosmoética conscienciológica internacional,
Here
o
in
principal
this
projeto de
ICCC
incentivo,
is the main
manutenção
project
da enciclopédia da
for
Conscienciologia,
the
que envolve
maintenance of
as
the
despesas
encyclopedia
aqui do tertuliário, do holociclo e da holoteca.
Sponsors
Todos os
the
amigos da
expenses
enciclopédia
of
vão
the
concorrer no dia
tertuliarium,
1º de
holocycle and
agosto a um laptop, que eu vou ler a configuração para vocês, um laptop da marca Asus, com tela de LED, 1.6 GHz de processador, memória RAM de 2 GB, 160 GB de HD, vem com Windows 7, com tela widescreen, bateria de 4.5 horas e com webcam. Então esse laptop vai ser sorteado entre todos os amigos da enciclopédia. E também 10 cursos avançados de campo com EPICONs de várias ICs, por exemplo, o curso Práticas do Parapsiquismo Avançado, um curso de 10 dias doado pelo IIPC. Vai ser sorteado aqui no dia 1º. O curso Balanço Existencial, 40 manobras energéticas, 2 vagas para o curso Lexicologia, ECP1, ECP2, acoplamentário e o Teoria e Prática da Inversão Existencial, além de um curso doado também pela pré-IC de Pesquisologia. Então a inscrição é R$720, a pessoa pode pagar em até 12 vezes os cartões Visa, Amex e Mastercard. E em breve, agora no mês de julho ainda, nós vamos estar lançando um novo site com mais facilitações do ponto de vista da inscrição e da renovação. Até o dia 1º de agosto, a gente então sugere às pessoas a fazer as suas inscrições aqui na recepção do CAEC, ou fazer contato com a gente por e-mail, onde a pessoa pode mandar os cheques cruzados nominal ao CAEC para o endereço do CAEC. Muito obrigado.
Thank you very much.
Pessoal, boa tarde.
Good afternoon.
A Reaprendência, ela está com um projeto de gravação de filmagem dos temas do glossário da Conscienciologia. Esse projeto ele visa atender a demanda de pessoas novas que estão em contato com a Conscienciologia pela internet, os novos tertulianos
or the new Tertulians who are just meeting the Conscienciology science and have doubts about the terms and the technical neologisms. So in partnership with Communicons, we're going to make the recording of these terms or neologisms. And for that, we need teachers who intend to help in these recordings. So the teacher has 1 minute to define a neologism and give an example. It's a very interesting work because it will be available online for everyone to access. And any Conscienciology teacher can participate. It doesn't take too much time and it helps in the advertisement of Conscienciology. So if you have any doubts or if you want to help in this project, you can contact me or any of your Reaprendência volunteers. You can even send an email for contato@reaprendencia.org. I would just like to remind you that this recording is going to be made next Friday and Saturday morning. As we don't have a more specific course, we are unveiling this information, and you could talk to me to choose the theme that's going to be recorded. Okay? Thank you very much.
Boa tarde a todos. Meu convite aqui é em nome da Reaprendência para o Programa de Aceleração da Erudição, o PAI, nessa turma de biografias. Então,
Acceleration of Erudition.
A turma começa agora no dia 25
So we are going to have a new group in July 25, and there's a little alteration.
Foi incluída uma aula inaugural
We
no dia 25 de julho.
have an
Então a aula do
inauguration
Confúcio vai
class
ser no dia 1º de agosto.
July
Essa primeira
25.
obra de biografia é o autêntico Confúcio.
The
A primeira das obras que
discussed is going to be the authentic Confucius that is going to be studied in this cycle.
O Pitágoras,
Another
Leonardo da Vinci,
books are
Emanuel
going to be
Swedenborg,
the Pythagoras,
Olympe Gurgis, que é uma pessoa até pouco conhecida, mas teve um papel relevante, importante aí na Revolução Francesa. O Gandhi, o Charles Darwin, o Sérgio Vieira de Mello, aquele brasileiro que trabalhou
Vieira de Mello, the Brazilian who works
Hannah Arendt, que tem sido bastante discutida aí no
United Nations, Hannah Arendt,
né?
that has been discussed during the Tertúlia, and J.K. Juscelino Kubitschek.
Essa primeira obra aqui, ela no dia 1º de julho ela já vai ser debatida, então as pessoas devem adquirir a sua obra antes e já ler essa obra com antecedência.
So
tá?
the people should get the book before.
Tem uma entrevista com o Hernani, que é o propositor do pai.
On our website, we have an interview with Hernani, the one who proposed this program.
Os professores a conseguir
by
fazer
watching that, you are going to understand better
quando debate algumas das questões, alguns dos temas que são
we
abordados pela
debate the themes
então, para ter
approached by
de causa,
conscientiology,
além simplesmente das leituras dos tratados ou das obras da conscienciologia, para ter uma abordagem mais ampla. Fica então o convite para o dia 25 de julho, começa as maiores informações, contato @repreendência.org,
for further information, we have to call the CIX reception.
Boa tarde a todos, tertulianos, teletertulianos,
Tertulians and Tertulians and intermissivists and families. We would like to invite you to participate in the Advanced Free,
esse é o
which is
sexto
an immersion course.
É courso sem pré-requisitos,
It's a course without prerequisites that happens during a weekend.
E com debates
abertos. With two bioenergetic
camps. Vai acontecer em Uberaba, Minas Gerais, de 3 a 5 de setembro, sob a coordenação do EPICOM, Mário Oliveira.
Então, a gente convida todos aqueles que estão nos ouvindo, que estiverem interessados em participar desse grande curso lá em Uberaba, o SCP3, que mandem e-mail para scp3@iipc.org.br. Essas pessoas também que nos ouvem no site das Tertúlias, no canto à direita, na parte de nossas instituições, podem ali clicar no IIPC e procurar o centro educacional mais próximo à sua localidade para efetuar as inscrições e obterem maiores informações.
Subscription and to obtain further information.
Boa tarde a todos. A governança chegou
The governance has reached a new step. We have had 2 meetings with consultants and 9 other meetings with inner groups of work. The result is here. We would like to thank you for the participation of those who participated until the end, and it was very good. Our work is settled. We're going to print and prepare these documents so they can be available in Holoteca for you to research. And the GT, the group of work called Gestation, is very good when compared to the Interphysical Society's groups focused in our paradigm of conscienciology. For the participants of this work, we are very satisfied, and we acknowledge all the professionals who are helping us. Today we have the settlement step, and in thesis the theoretical work has already been done. From now on, we intend to cast the proposals of the three groups, elect the priority, and settled in the next council of the conscienciological institutions. For this moment, we invite all the other volunteers, because this is an historical moment to ICCC. It's going to take some time until we have adjustments and the ideal political model. We count on your presence this afternoon. Thank you very much.
Boa tarde.
Good afternoon.
Em nome da Associação Aracê, comunicamos que estaremos realizando o primeiro Congresso Internacional de Serenologia no Campus Aracê em junho de 2011.
Portanto, estamos
aqui convidando a todos os pesquisadores interessados no assunto a enviarem os seus trabalhos com data prevista até o final de agosto de 2010 para análise e seleção para apresentação nesse congresso. Então, fica a todos esse convite para o primeiro congresso de serenologia. E quem tiver interesse, envie seu e-mail para csi@arac.org. Obrigado.
O verbete eleito para amanhã é avanço da razão, especialidade autodiscernimentologia. Obrigado e boa tarde a todos.